What's up, everybody? It is Jack, and we are back with another video. First, I want to say thank you to the couple subscribers that have subscribed to the channel. It means a lot, and it's good to see that some of this information is helpful and entertaining. I'm going to try to be posting a reel every single day, along with 2 videos a week, varying on topics. But this channel is going to be basically my experience as a general contractor, and kind of starting out to where I am today, and really just my thoughts and opinions, and my 2 cents. So that's what this is going to be. That's what this channel will be about, and I hope you enjoy it. I am coming back from a job site. I was out there a little later today, and coming back home now. Got about a 20-minute drive, and I kind of want to talk about the difference between being, a business owner and kind of self-employed. I want to kind of talk about, in my experience, what I feel my transition has been from being a self-employed to going down more of the path of being a business owner. I think most contractors that I see out there are, for the most part, self-employed. They are, whether it be a concrete company, a framing, excavation, drywall, plumbing, electrical, painting, insulation, you name it, right? It doesn't really matter. Anyone in the trades, for the most part, from what I see, and remember that I am a general contractor, so I hire a lot of subs to do our stuff, so I'm getting this information from this and from other places, but most of the owners of the company are out on the site, in the field, every day, all day, bags on, so to speak, doing the work. And there's nothing wrong with this, but it's hard to grow past that point, because you are the person who has to get up. Let's say you're a plumber, for example, right? You're going to want to probably start your day at around 7 o'clock at your shop, and if it's you and 2 other people, you have to be there to start things going. You are the main person, so you have to be there first thing in the morning every day at that shop, get it open, get the trucks ready, get your gear loaded on, pick up any miscellaneous materials and so on. You got to go out to the job site. You're stuck out on the job all day long, working on the job. You're making all the decisions that maybe your helpers are asking you about. Ultimately, you are the end-all, be-all of every single thing that happens. And again, there's nothing wrong with this. And I think if you can do this well and do this right, and you don't want to grow, and you can stay busy easily because your services are in high demand, this may be a really good option, because you can take on the jobs you want to take on, and you're going to make some probably pretty good money. And if you actually enjoy the work and it's physically not too demanding, it's probably not a bad thing. But I think everyone wants, maybe not everyone, but for the most part, I think people want to be able to have some freedom. And I think that's the whole purpose of going out on your own and getting into business, is to have some freedom and flexibility around your hours after you've kind of been through the ringer and earn your stripes, so to say, right, so to speak. So the problem is, when you're stuck in the field like that, you can't go and sell more work. You can't go and find better people to run your business. You can't figure out, okay, well, this bid didn't work out. Why didn't it work out? You don't have the time to dig into the nitty-gritty stuff here. You can't build the systems that allow you to free up more of your time, because most of your time is eaten up on site in the day-to-day doing this stuff. And I think we can all agree on, by the time we get home, the last thing we want to do for the most part is dive into the systems and all this other technical stuff, it's just not something we want to do. You guys probably want to go hang out with your family or your friends, or maybe by yourself, whatever it is. So when I think a self-employed, business owner, that's kind of what I think of. They're kind of stuck in that day-to-day loop, and maybe they want to get out, but they don't know how to get out, or they can't get out, whatever it may be. Now, when I think of a business owner, I think of someone who is owning the business, is involved in the business, but everything does not revolve around them, in the sense that nothing else gets done unless they're part of it. Let's say you're working in the business as a project manager and you own the company, but you are not the person who has to open up the shop every day. You don't have to get the guys the materials if they have a list on the site, and you don't have to meet the sub. The daily operations are not tied to they're not tied to you, in the sense that if you're not there at a certain time, or you're not there that day, whatever it may be, everything's going to fall apart and nothing's going to move, right? There's still money being made, and there's still progress happening on your projects and in your business, even though you may or may not be involved in every single one of those details. And that's the big shift that separates the self-employed business owner from the true business owner. Now, here's the caveat to that, is that it comes with more stress. You're going to have to bring in more work, because you're going to have more people involved, and you're going to have a higher overhead, and there's going to be more moving parts, and so on. So it's a trade-off, right? You might get some of your time back over time, but at the start of it, it's going to be a little challenging. Now, if you're going to transition over, this is usually the path of how this happens, is that someone will go out and they will start their business, and they will be a self-employed business owner, and they'll work in the field, every day, yada, yada, yada. And depending on how motivated they are, they'll go home and they'll work after work and build the systems and so on. And then they slowly make that transition over from being a self-employed business owner to a true business owner. And that shift is tricky, and it's chaotic, and it can be a little scary. In my experience, it was a weird shift, and it took kind of like 6 months. I mean, for me to mentally feel okay with it. It felt so weird not being on site every day. I felt that I was losing respect. I felt that things were just going out of control. I felt completely blind, and it really just felt bizarre, and I didn't like it, because I was so used to being there every day, all day. But what happened is that when I felt blind and in the dark on the job site, I realized, well, I can't be there every day, because if I'm there every day, I can't sell more jobs. I can't build the stuff that I need to build. I can't make sure that my subcontractors are getting paid, in a timely manner. And I can't make sure, I need to make sure that the contracts are done properly, and so on, right? So you can't be there every day. But in the realization of this, you realize that, well, shoot, I really need to get some systems in place. And I think some of the most important systems that you need to see when you make the transition from a self-employed business owner to to a business, to a real business owner, is you need to see some form of revenue tracking. You need to understand the amount of money that comes in sales, and from there, where it goes. Does it go to overhead? Does it go to savings? Does it go to payroll? Is it going to taxes? How much are you spending on small tools and equipment? How much are you spending on fuel? And so on. So when you make that transition, you need to have that tracking for that. You need to have some sort of system in place that allows you to see what's happening on the job site every day without being on the job site every day. In the industry, this is called a daily job report. That's what we call it here. It could be more of a commercial thing, but we use it We do it every day. It's a bit tedious, but it serves a good purpose when it is done right, that you as the owner, right, who's not on site every day, you can see progress pictures of the job site. You can get a little description from whoever's filling it out based on, you get a description on, okay, this happened today. This is what's happening tomorrow. This is where we're short on material, or this was a problem, and here's who visited the job site, and so on. A little bonus on this is that you have very good documentation of everything that happened on the job site that day. And it may seem like you don't need it, but one day you're going to be like, man, what happened on September 12th, 2025? I really want that daily job report because something came up. So daily job reports would be number 2. The third thing that you're going to want is going to be some form of schedule, shared schedule. If you're not on the job site every day, that means that someone probably has to fill your role, such as a superintendent or a lead, job site lead or foreman. And if you're not there every day, that means that you don't know every single thing that's necessarily happening. And if you do, it needs to get out of your head, and it needs to be shared with the rest of the people so people can do your job. So there needs to be some form of shared schedule or shared calendar so that the person that you've delegated to do these tasks and kind of run the day-to-day can update that schedule so you kind of know what's going on without being there. In addition to, you can put in what needs to happen on the site. You need to put in that the plumber is going to be showing up on this date. So these 3 walls need to be framed by this date so that he can run his waste vent, right? These are the things that need to happen before you make that transition from self-employed business owner to a real, true business owner. And if you have those 3 things, it's going to help quite a bit. So you're looking for some sort of financial tracking so you can see your revenue, and from there, where it's going, how it's getting spread out. You want to have some form of daily job report, something that shows you a visual with a quick and dirty update of what happened on the job site today, what's happening tomorrow on the job site. Did anyone step foot on the job site that we need to know about? What's the deal with materials? Let's see some progress pictures, and so on. And you want to see a shared schedule. You want a shared schedule that, or calendar or something. I like to use Google Calendars. It's pretty simple. Those would be 3 things to start if you want to start making the transition. And stay tuned. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment. I'll see you on the next video.